Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing work permits in the context of representative offices here in the Kingdom of Thailand. Why am I making this video? Well, I'm making this video actually upon request from some folks on social media who apparently have been having some confusion regarding work permits requirements for representative offices here. There's another video on this channel that I just made while doing this research, doing the research specifically on work permits, and I found an article which was discussing foreign business license requirements, or the lack thereof, on representative offices here in the kingdom. And I urge those who are watching this video to maybe go check that out, as these two videos together I think will provide all the nuance regarding this overall issue with respect to work permits. But in short summary of the other video, basically, as of last year, the requirement for foreign business licenses on representative offices has been abolished. So representative offices do not need a foreign business license in order to operate here in the kingdom. And that's very different than times past when they did. Basically, the representative office itself is now being considered sort of an exempted service, no longer falling under the need to have a file and obtain a foreign business license. What does that mean as a practical matter? Well, what it means as a practical matter is those rep offices now can operate within the narrow scope that they're prescribed to. And there's another video where we discuss rep offices in detail on this channel. And as we go into in that video, there's a very narrow scope of activity that rep offices can undertake. They can't just do whatever they want. Generally speaking, they can't operate at a profit. They can't do certain types of business activity. They're basically here as a representative of the company. They are not a subsidiary. They are simply this representative that allows limited activity associated with usually a given product. I usually think of it conceptually in terms of, say there is a production company, a factory, if you will, in Australia, and they make a certain type of widget that various people in Thailand buy. And as part of their mission to ensure that their customers are happy, they may want to set up a representative office here in Thailand to ensure that distribution goes well, et cetera, et cetera. But they're using other Thai corporations to actually do the work of things like distribution, marketing, et cetera. But the rep office itself, its activities are very, very circumscribed to simply sort of making sure on the ground that their product is not being, for lack of a better word, its reputation is not suffering due to quality control problems or due to marketing problems, etc. So the rep office structure itself is supposed to be very limited. Now, I first came upon this issue with respect to the foreign business license, or the lack of need for a foreign business license, and this work permit issue. I cannot find anything directly on point, and we're still looking. So I'm not saying that this video is the end-all be-all on this topic. If there is further information on this, I'm going to go ahead and provide it in a later video. But as of the time of this video, I cannot find any specific regulations which specifically exempt representative offices from the need for work permits. That being said, what I think people are perhaps getting confused about is that foreign business licensing of representative offices is a very different thing than work permit requirements of a representative, of one working in a representative office. And let me explain the difference. So, for example, companies which are certified pursuant to the provisions of the U.S.-Thai Treaty of Amity receive quote-unquote national treatment under the provisions of that treaty. There's another video on this channel where we specifically discuss national treatment, but the end result is that companies allowed to operate in Thailand, notwithstanding the provisions of the Foreign Business Act, they're treated as if it's a Thai company. And for that reason, the Foreign Business Act does not apply. That being said, just because the Foreign Business Act does not apply does not mean the rules regarding labor violations, labor quotas, the labor code generally does not apply to a given enterprise here in the kingdom. So how do we look at this? Well, there's the entity and then there's the individual. The entity may be exempted from foreign business licensing requirements, as it would be under the Amity Treaty or the new rules abolishing such requirements for representative offices specifically. That being said, that doesn't have anything to do with the individual foreigner who needs to have work authorization in order to work in the kingdom. Now, I'm still doing the research on this, and my team is trying to help me find this. So if I'm missing something, please put it in the comments below, and we're happy to follow that link. And if we're missing some component of this analysis, we will very happily update it in a later video. But that being said, the way I'm looking at this is basically operating very similarly to an amity treaty structure. So representative offices now no longer need an FBL, a foreign business license. But notwithstanding the fact they don't need an FBL, they may still need a work permit, because a foreign national working in Thailand, generally speaking, needs a work permit. To sort of further muddy up the waters on this analysis, and I don't mean to do that, the so-called smart visa system, which we've done many videos on this channel with respect to the newly created smart visa system and the protocols associated therewith, would seem to grant work authorization inherent to the visa itself. Now, that doesn't mean that the individual does not undergo scrutiny with respect to the labor they're undertaking in the kingdom. It just means they're trying to create this more streamlined visa and work permit process and basically make it all part and parcel of the same document. So it's not outside the realm of possibility. They may be, the authorities, the powers that be, if you will, may be promulgating legislation or may have already done so, which basically exempts representative offices specifically from needing work permits. They certainly seem to have done this under the protocols associated with the smart visa. But what I think is actually at play here is folks are maybe a little bit confused as to the difference between foreign business licensing and the requirement for a work permit on a foreigner in the kingdom. Notwithstanding the fact that, for example, an amity treaty company does not need to comply, does not need a foreign business license because they are amity treaty certified, the foreigners working within that company still need to get work permits. This is the same for a Thai company. Any Thai company operating within the kingdom, be it 100% Thai shareholders and directors, still needs to obtain work permit authorization for any of the foreign nationals who are working for that enterprise. So even Thai companies still have to adhere to work permit regulations. So I think the confusion here is one of, is foreign business licensing the same as work authorization for a foreigner? No, they're not. For the entity of the representative office, it seems that that foreign business licensing is no longer required. For the individual foreigner working in the rep office, it would seem that work permit requirements are still part and parcel of the package for that foreigner. They need to be work authorized in order to work in the kingdom. But if there is a difference or if there is changes on that our research finds, again, anybody who has some contradictory information to this analysis, please feel free to put a comment in the comments below so that we can ascertain whether that's correct. And if it is, we'll do an updated video on this issue and get it out as soon as we can.